Hi Anti-Society, welcome back to the Anti-Social Planet, and today we are checking out chapters 69 and 70 of Tower of God. So in the last couple of chapters, we basically saw Anak and Endorsi getting thrown around by Ren. They weren't doing the best job against him. I mean, Endorsi kind of came in injured after her interaction with the bull, who, by the way, we don't know what the bull is up to, which makes me have a lot of thoughts and worries. We have just been distracted by Ren and his weird head of a ram on a chain thing that he's got going on. So, still in my brain about where exactly the bull has wandered off to. But we did have a wonderful character growth moment with Endorsi of her deciding to side with her friends. Of course, we have Ren, who is directly working with Jihad and ordered Endorsi to actually kill Anak, and Endorsi decided not to do that and has basically thrown away her life, her connection with Jihad. I don't really know what the consequences of this decision are going to be yet. I'm sure we will find out as everything gears up with subsequent chapters. There's plenty of chapters, so we've got lots of time to kind of see what all of the ramifications are going to be. But we had Anak and Endorsi teaming up to actually work together with each other and try to fight Ren, and it wasn't working out super well, but thankfully we had the best moment. I am still so excited that this was a thing. We had Lady Yuri coming back with a beautiful entrance saying that the big sister had arrived to help out Anak and Endorsi. I am so excited to see Lady Yuri not only just in the story in the panels, but see her take an active part. We've seen little hints of her as she's tried to get to where Mom is and the Black March subsequently, but we haven't seen her actively be part of the story since the first few chapters, so I am so excited to see her showing up. We now have 3 princesses of Jihad that are teaming up to go up against Ren. Again, don't know what the ramifications of that are going to be because they're all going against Jihad by doing this, so I don't know what that's gonna mean for them, but I'm very excited for the team up and to see Lady Yuri actually fight, because we have not seen that yet, and I'm sure it will be spectacular. So I am super excited to get into these chapters. We have lots of other little threads that were going on, but that was the big part that happened at the end of the last chapter. So we'll see which part of the story we're focusing in on for chapter 69. Let's just get into it. Let's see what this chapter has in store for us. I'm sure it will be amazing. I'm so excited going into this. Oh, there's Shibitsu. I was wondering, he encountered Lady Yuri, I'm assuming from the red glowing eyes that he saw, but we didn't actually get to see him last time. That look, though. Even Ren's sweating a little bit. You know that she's intimidating when Ren is even like, hang on a second. Oh, we're gonna see Rock? Well, how are we doing, darling? There's a few of them, so, you know, be careful. Do you, Paracool? Do you have more important things? I mean, we don't really know his backstory, so I don't want to be too judgmental. And I guess Rock's one motivation that we know of is that he just likes hunting things, and he's like, there's probably some really powerful stuff the closer you get to the top of the tower, so I would like to hunt that. Whether or not there's more to that story, I don't know. I would love for there to be, because I adore him, but I feel like there's a good chance there isn't. He's a very simple person, you know? But maybe don't call people garbage while you're asking them for help. Just a thought. Some friendly advice. That if you want someone to help you, calling them garbage, bad idea. But I'm sure Rock's got this. Oh, who are you? And how are we flying? I'm trying to remember. Is it Lorraine? That's all I can think of. With the whole Shinsu manipulation, perhaps? Oh my gosh, what happened? Just noticed the carnage. Yeah, Lorraine! His hair looked green in this panel, which is why I was like, do I know someone who has green hair in this? I guess he kind of has a green tint to his hair. Ooh, does that go with the whole breeder thing that we learned about? Is it her who's controlling the dogs and using them to help them out? Yeah, because she was with Lorraine, so I'm like, it's probably her help. Look at her go, that's pretty cool. I wasn't sure how much range that ability had, you know, because like how many could she control? How far away could she be to do that? I love how happy he is to have his sleeping bag. Ooh, the worms looked a little bit torn apart, as that they were literally like in their digestive system. I don't know how to feel about that. Why does Shibitsu know that? What are you reading? I mean, it doesn't fully surprise me that he would just have random knowledge, but like that seems like a weird thing to know about, unless it's related, because he says they damaged farmers' fields. We don't know anything about Shibitsu, so it's possible that he's from a place where farming is really important, in which case knowing about the tunnels and how they can damage crops would be useful information. So this might just be a clue of backstory. Wow, there was a lot of layers to this one. I knew it though, because Kun does not play around. But the fact that they were like, so we mapped out this whole labyrinth of tunnels underground, and then we made sure that we could redirect them to the place that we wanted them to be. I mean, it's elegant. It's just a ton of work, but I guess if it works, right? And it's not just like a few of them working on it. There's a bunch of them. So I guess if you have some manpower at your disposal, you can do something like that. But I never would have thought to use the tunnels, which is probably why I would not survive in the tower, which I think is pretty evident. I am not a violent person, so I would not do well. Oh, so they knew that all this was coming too, just saying like why Kun was like navigating rock towards the thieves and worms is because he knew all of this was coming. See, I say it before I read the panel. Should just keep reading. I like how Kun's like, it might have failed. Would it have? I bet you had a few plans up your sleeve, just in case. I think it would have been fine. Yes, let Rock fight something before he gets restless, you know? Let him tire himself out. Oh, hello. You seem slightly intense in the emotional department, one might say. Ah, so that's where the spear bearers are coming in. Very elegant, especially since they're in a place where like they have higher ground. When you have an opponent that can like bury under the ground, or you're dealing with being submerged and around water and stuff, I'm sure it would be a lot harder to utilize spear bearers. Whereas in this particular instance, they're kind of boxed in and you have access to higher ground. So it's good that they kind of pushed them into a specific place where they could take advantage of it. It's cool. I'm always shocked by how clever some of these plans are. And I don't know why. I feel like I should have gotten used to it at some point. There's a lot of chaos happening, and then there's just like Kun being like super chill, which I think is good. If Kun was panicking, I feel like that would amplify my own panic, because then things are really getting out of hand. I feel like Kun saying that the administrator's test wasn't that difficult is a little bit too soon. I feel like on the one hand, because we have all the stuff going on with Ren, but also I feel like there has to be a catch. Like at some point, they're gonna run into something and be like, oh, that's why this is the administrator's test. I'm just waiting for the moment, because there's always a moment where we realize that all the information was not there at the beginning. The tower never lets them get too comfortable with where they're at. Yes, where is the bull? I would like to know. That's right, Huts was out there. Where's Huts? I like him. Oh, hello. Who are you? Oh, yes, who are you? Other white-haired person who popped up out of nowhere and managed to get around Kun. Kun's got some crazy senses going on. Now I'm more nervous. What is that, though? I feel like that might be important. Just a man and his love of sleep. Nothing to see here. He's just checking out the place, making sure it's a good napping opportunity. He's so adorable. But I feel like something is going to ruin this. Yep, there it is. And he's just put out about it. Oh, hello again. That's right! There was the whole team that was with Lady Yuri. How could I forget? There were all the other people. I guess they also have to be with her. Like around, I guess. It just clicked in my brain. Because sometimes I'm dumb. And I forget things. So I'm assuming they are friend? Ooh, Lororo's spidey senses are going off. Yeah, there are a few. There's a couple of intruders, actually, and it's getting a little bit chaotic. Next chapter. Okay, let's see what's gonna happen now that it seems like Lororo is gonna be pulled into this, maybe? I feel like this might get to a point where we find out how much Hung Sung is aware of in terms of like, how much does he know Ren's involvement? Does he know that Ren and the bull are connected to each other? I assume that he does, in which case, what are his thoughts? Especially since I'm sure Jihad has something to say about what's going on. Does he know about Lady Yuri showing up? And he's like, I'll allow it because it'll cause chaos. Like, you know, I hope that we dig a little bit into what Hung Sung knows, because I can understand if Lororo doesn't fully understand what's going on, but I do not believe for a second that Hung Sung does not know. Ooh, so they have orders not to get involved no matter what. I'm sure Ren took advantage of that one. I do like that Qantas like immediately wants to get involved, and I feel like part of that is just he seems to have a bit of like a fiery personality in general, but I think also he has a heart. You know, I feel like that kind of gets missed a lot of the time, but we've seen him actively trying to make sure that people are protected during the tests, and I'm sure after what happened with Ho that he has some amount of responsibility on him with that. I'm sure it's something that he's used to. I'm sure that he has seen people get killed during tests in the tower, both while going up the tower and being a ranker within the tower. But if you get to a point where it doesn't affect you even a little bit, I think that's when you start to lose yourself. So I feel like Quant still cares. He's still in that phase where he hasn't completely lost his sense of like empathy. So I'm sure that something going wrong in this test also has him on edge because he's like, we already had weird stuff happening. Like, weird stuff is already going on with these tests, and I'm sure that it's getting under his skin a little bit. I'm trying to remember if this guy was with Lady Yuri. I just want to know friend or foe. Yes, I was wondering what this thing is too. Has it have to do with manipulating a lighthouse? I'm assuming, which I'm sure Kun is going to hate. Kun likes being in control, and then having someone walk in to his place, you know, his little domain where he has control over things and can keep an eye on all of it, to walk in and just seize control of it, I am sure Kun will be livid. Whether or not he will show it or not, I don't know, but he's gonna remember this forever and be upset about it. But he's also probably going to be intrigued by the whole thing and want to know what's going on. See, that face? He is not happy about just being kicked out of his spot. No, he did not. That is an important thing to remember. There are some things going on. I think their friend, though, at least for now, they seem to be with Lady Yuri, and she seems to be pretty good. I don't really know what to make of Princesses of Jihad and rankers and stuff, so I'm like, it could be worse. That's like the best I can say. Yeah. Lorray also has a bad temper, so ooh, I like the balance of this though. We have like the two people facing opposite ways, but then we have the parallel between this panel and then this panel. I like it. I like the transition. I don't like the smile though. Yeah, this is the encounter that I am most intrigued and worried about, because I feel like nobody comes out of this interaction looking good. You know, either we have Princesses of Jihad that have already decided to go against something that Jihad has ordered in some capacity, and then you have Ren, who maybe I'm putting too much faith in Lady Yuri, but I'm assuming he's gonna lose. I just assume she's gonna wipe the floor with him. So I don't see this looking very good for him either. He could also get in trouble if he like seriously injures or even just attacks Lady Yuri, because I don't know how important she is on the hierarchy, like how much Jihad relies on her, how much responsibility he gives her, what kind of jobs she's in charge of in terms of like whatever the hierarchy is for the Princesses of Jihad. I'm assuming there is some kind of internal hierarchy. I'm assuming they aren't all treated equal, so he might get in trouble just for having any kind of confrontation with her. I guess she wouldn't recognize him because he's in the costume. Are we gonna see it? I don't know if I want to see what he actually looks like. We've seen snippets of it, and I don't know if I want to know. Yeah, you've missed a few things. A few things have been going on with the Princesses of Jihad. I like that Shibitsu is with Anak immediately, because even though they aren't in their teams anymore, they still kind of are. I still think of them in their little, like, 3 groups. Plus, Shibitsu is just a sweetheart that we've seen so far. I feel like there's some darkness if you peel back the layers. He likes to have his outward appearance to be the sweetie pie part of him. Whether or not that is all there is to him, I highly doubt. I don't think she's just gonna move on. She is here for the Black April, but she also might have some things to say. I don't know how connected Lady Yuri is to Anak the First, the mother, and how she might feel about someone else having the Green April or attacking her daughter. I'm not sure. Ooh, but she is ordering Ren around, so we'll see how that works out for either of them. I don't think Ren is the kind of person who likes being ordered around, especially when he has the opportunity to hurt someone. He seems to enjoy that, but I don't know if he has the authority. Just because he might have the authority over someone like Endorsi, again, the hierarchy of Princesses of Jihad, he might outrank Endorsi in some way, but I don't know if he outranks Lady Yuri, because Endorsi might be Princess of Jihad, but she's a ranker. So I feel like that puts her in a different placement as opposed to Lady Yuri. I also always call her Lady Yuri. I just like the idea of that. I know I could just call her Yuri, but I like putting the lady there. It seems to fit her. I like making her seem grand. I guess especially if it's a test where they specifically have orders not to get involved. Like if Lororo and Quant have been given exact orders not to get involved in the test no matter what happens, and then Ren is getting involved and messing up the test for the administrator, I feel like that does break some rules. Unless he has permission. Oh, they noticed. Believe me. I feel like this is going to be a battle of wills, and I'm not quite sure who's going to win out. I feel like Lady Yuri might be more stubborn, though. Ooh, do not go against her word. I feel like she does not like that either. I don't think Lady Yuri is used to people not listening to her. We saw that a little bit with Bomb, who just kind of did his own thing, and she's like, why are you like this? So I'm sure that someone not just taking orders from her is something that she does not enjoy or is used to. See, Ren has all of these moments where he really uses his words as weapons. He tries to dig into people's thoughts and their insecurities and like push on certain things. We saw that when he was talking to Ho, and then we saw it when he was talking to Endorsi, and now we're seeing it as he talks to Lady Yuri, where he's like, let me see how I can talk enough to push the right buttons, to nudge you in the right way, to think the way that I do. He's very manipulative, and it seems to be a hallmark of how he likes to behave around people. And he always phrases it in this way where it's like, it's just a logical way of going about this, you know, where he's like, this, you know, these are the rules, these are the things that we need to consider, and you should just agree with me because obviously I am level-headed and logical in this moment. But we also know that he is also very vicious and enjoys playing with people. So it's part of what adds to how sinister he is. Because it's one thing to have someone be like violent or something like that. It's another thing to have someone who likes to play with people. That's like an entirely different kind of evil in my head. Because if you're just violent, you can fear that person for like very logical reasons and like even avoid some of the danger. But when it's someone who just likes to manipulate and play with people's heads and behaviors, you know, people who are very like puppet master kind of people, those are a lot scarier because you can't like point to a specific thing and be like, that is what is evil. You're like, I don't know what it is, but something about being near them and talking to them makes me uneasy. And when you don't have something concrete to kind of point to, it makes it a lot harder to like believe that something's going on, but also to have other people believe that something is going on. See, and now we have that subtle threat of, I'm going to tell Jihad and he's going to be on my side. He's so manipulative. I don't think Lady Yuri's gonna take kindly to being threatened, even passive-aggressively, though. Ooh, that's scary. Look at her. Wow, I am intimidated, but also I cannot wait for her to just go off on Ren. I want to live vicariously because of how much I do not like him. See, I was like, she's not gonna do well to the threat, and you can see her immediately putting him down, calling him a rookie. She's immediately saying like, yeah, you're here, I'm all the way up here. You can't talk to me that way. Yeah, see, Lady Yuri going right through it. Like the fact that he's like, I'm just thinking of the future of Jihad. I'm just thinking what's best for everyone. He very much frames it that way. And even Lady Yuri saying, you put Jihad at the end. You want to emphasize that part. Because whatever you put at the end of your sentence is what people end up remembering the best. It's what they end up focusing on. So the fact that he keeps putting Jihad at the end of his statements, he's like, I want you to understand that I have authority. I can threaten you because I have the weight of Jihad behind me when I say things, when I do things. And Lady Yuri is not putting up with it. She sees right through it, and I love that. I feel like Ren is not used to dealing with someone of Lady Yuri's caliber. Like we even saw it with Hung Sung. Like Hung Sung saw right through everything, was just playing around with Ren and walked away. And that's why Ren is okay, because Hung Sung decided he wasn't going to do anything about it. And I think part of that is because of the connection to Jihad, and Hung Sung's just like, I have to listen to F and Kel, like I have other things going on that influence my decision. So I feel like Ren doesn't know what it's like to deal with people who do not fear that threat of Jihad, or at least have more authority with Jihad, perhaps. Again, I don't know where Lady Yuri falls under that, but she might be able to talk to Jihad and have her opinion heard, right? As opposed to someone like Anak. Anak can't do that. And Dorsey probably can't because she's not a ranker yet. Whereas like Lady Yuri might have that authority, so it's not the same threat. A good point though. That's why I'm saying like, if it's one word against the other, if it's Ren's word about what happened against Lady Yuri, does Lady Yuri's have more weight because she's a princess of Jihad and she's a ranker and works closer with Jihad? Maybe? Is she more important? I feel like she is than someone like Ren. Like if she's more valuable, then that means that she has more authority. It's an interesting dynamic to see these two go head to head and see what they end up deciding to do to like deal with the situation. I like that, where it's like this power isn't given to those who use the name for their convenience, which is what Ren is doing, right? He's like, let me throw this name around because it makes me seem powerful, and most people will cower. Whereas Lady Yuri is like, I don't have a threat where it's like Jihad will do something himself, or his name is enough of a threat. Lady Yuri has that power. She has her own power that's been given to her as a princess of Jihad, and she had to work to get there. So for her, it's like a long journey to get to where she is, where she has the authority and the power that she has. So I'm sure that seeing someone just kind of throw the name around and not know the kind of work and I'm sure pain and sacrifice that came with it, I'm sure also pisses her off. Yet she should scare you. She scares me. Ren makes me very uncomfortable for a mixture of reasons. That's all I have to say about that panel. Ugh! Oh my god. What is it? Is that what Ren is? I know he said all of these fish inside the bowl, and we've seen him manipulate lots of different creatures. Ooh, and they were kind of like, And the bull was kind of like a mixture of things mushed all together, and it was weird and crooked. And is that what that is? I don't know how to feel about anything anymore. I thought Ren couldn't freak me out more, and now here we are. See, the tongues are not necessary. I do like that we changed to the soft lighting though. For symbolism and artistic choices, I like that. It goes with the happiness that he's feeling. It's a great contrast with the darkness of the actual setting. Still makes me uncomfortable. I can appreciate the art while still being uncomfortable by the character. Story of my life. And she is unfazed. I am so excited for Lady Yuri to just put Ren in his place. I want it so bad. We didn't even see it happen, and she squashed it. Holy crap. Like I said, I don't think Ren knows what he's gotten himself into. Oh dear. Why do I feel like this is going to be catastrophic for Ren? I'm excited though. Holy crap. I feel like I don't have words for what just happened. I feel like I'm just in shock. I'm gonna have to process some of it. I feel like it's gonna take me a long time to process through what I saw with Ren. I feel like a lot happened in that, and we've only just started to really get in the confrontation, at least the physical part of the confrontation between Ren and Lady Yuri. But I wanna backtrack a little bit to the stuff that was happening before with the thieves and all that kind of stuff with Kun and Lorray, who were working with the others to map out the tunnels and to control the dogs against the thieves and worms. I thought that was a really cool way of using that breeder ability, and it makes me wonder what else there is out there with breeders and how far that ability can stretch and how much more powerful it can be in someone who's like a ranker or higher up in the power scaling. I'm sure we will come back to that at some point. I doubt that we are setting up breeders not to come back to that. So it was really cool to see how much power that she had already and kind of the distance and stuff like that, because it really went with the whole balancing of the ecosystem part of the test, where they weren't actually fighting the thieves and the dogs separately. They were using the natural ecosystem of them being enemies to their advantage. You know what I mean? It was one of those things where they didn't need to ruin that balance or get too involved. And now that I'm thinking about it, it might not have a ton to do with the breeder's ability. Before someone starts commenting about that, I'm like, it might not be. It might just be that the dogs decided to like rip their way into survival and freedom. But nonetheless, the way that they were able to use the natural parts of the ecosystem to their advantage to fulfill part of the test is like the whole point of the test, is maintaining that balance and also like work smarter, not harder. You know, it's one of those things where they could have fought both sides, but instead they just used the natural animosity between their two species to their advantage, which I think is really clever. And then of course we have Lady Yuri and her friends showing up, which is causing some issues with Kun losing control of his lighthouse, which I'm sure he will continue to be angry about, but also intrigued by how someone can do that. I'm sure he's going to want to find out. And with the other two that interrupted Lorray's nap, I'm sure that he will also be angry about that and have some things to say. But then most importantly, I think, is the interactions between Ren and Lady Yuri, not only because like that's the part that I'm like the most excited about to see some kind of outcome, but also because of how they were talking to each other. I feel like it really puts into perspective not only that there are certain hierarchies within Jihad's, like, I don't know, court group of people. He's a king, so I feel like court is the right thing to say, but like people who work for him, he has a certain way of controlling those hierarchies and stuff like that, which we haven't seen a whole lot of. We just know that Jihad is at the top, but then also seeing that it isn't all peace within that group. There's a lot of competition and not a lot of collaboration and camaraderie. Everyone seems to be very individual and going after their own interests, and we've seen hints of that before this as well, but we're just amplifying that with people who have been part of the tower and Jihad's rule for a really long time and know a lot more about how it works and how they are still butting heads with each other, because I feel like Jihad builds his power off of people being in confrontation with each other. You know, the strongest survive, and that's how he decides to rule and pick people. So that encourages people to always be confrontational. People think that the only way to go up the ranks is to take out the people in their way, and that might actually be the way that it is. It seems to be, from what we've learned. So it's really interesting to me to just see those interactions and see how even words are used as weapons and manipulation, and everyone has ways of kind of posturing with their words. I feel like I shouldn't say that because it kind of puts a negative light on it, but using words as a way to show people what they're capable of, what their authority is. And I feel like that really goes into like politics and stuff, because a lot of politics politics is just like using your words and being able to say multiple things while saying one thing. You can be like interpreted in several different ways depending on who the person is. So I really enjoy seeing some of that and how clever some people can be. So I like seeing not only is Lady Yuri incredibly powerful enough to just kind of squash that monstrosity that Ren released, but also is very clever and she knows where she stands and she's very assertive, which I feel like Ren isn't used to facing. Like when he uses the threat of jihad, to have someone be completely unfazed by it and then to use his own abilities with those like fish and everything and again has no effect on someone, I feel like he does not fully understand who Lady Yuri is. I am super excited to see where that interaction is going to go because it seems we have gone past words and threats and we have escalated into actual violence. So we will see how that turns out in the next couple of chapters. Hopefully. We might have to go back to some of the other stuff that's going on because Bomb and Rachel are still in the process of trying to be eaten. So we'll see how that turns out too, I guess. You can click this playlist to go and see my previous reactions, or you can subscribe so this next time I post a Tower of God reaction, and I will see you in the next video. Bye!